Yo, what's up guys, I'm the Fire King. Today I have our TEE Season 1 Finals match, and we're going up against a good buddy of mine. He goes by the name of George. He's coach of the A.Shocks. Before I get into anything, just want to give a quick shout out to my good buddy Bill Standish, who's been doing my thumbnails for me. I'll leave his link down below. Make sure to go check him out, please. Like I said, super cool dude. But back into the matchup, we're facing George in the finals. This is the second time the Minnesota Victinis have been to a final. The other time we've been to a final was Season 4 of the PWC, where we lost against Destin 3-0. And so like I said, this is the second time we come to finals. And we come with a 7-1 record, and George comes undefeated in the season with an 8-0 record. So we don't want to give him the perfect season. So I'm gonna try my best not to give him that perfect season, because we want to be champions, of course. And we're basically the two best teams of the league. I finished first place in my division, he finished first place in his division, and he finished first place overall in the regular season. Like I said, I'm 7-1, he's 8-0. And a quick breakdown of my team: I got a physically defensive Venusaur, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed Synthesis, Victini with holding the Shut Shell just for the trio there, Lando physically defensive, holding the leftovers with like EQ, Knockoff, U-Turn, Superpower, Registeel also with the Shut Shell, especially defensive with like Ironhead, EQ, Toxic and Rocks, Licky, especially defensive, with leftovers with EQ, Knockoff Wish, and Dragon Tail. Gramble is physically defensive with the leftovers, Play Rough, Super Fang, EQ, and Heal Bell. And George brings Dugtrio, Latios, Nidoqueen, Tapu Lele, Mega Mawile, and his Sneasel. Let's get into this matchup. It's the finals. He leads off with his Dugtrio. I lead off with my Venusaur. I'm going to Mega Evolve first turn, as he's going to probably set up rocks, since I didn't bring my hazard removal this game. He sets up the rocks. I go for a Giga Drain, bring him down to his Sash. And here he preserved his Dugtrio for Deathfather, as I just went for a Giga Drain. This is resisted, but it still did 34, which is a good amount to this Mega Mawile. He Mega Evolves, goes for an Ice Punch. I'm physically defensive, so only does 31% to me as I go for a Leech Seed. So I'm going to get recovery back. And George knows that, so he's going to switch on to his Latios. As I go for a Giga Drain, does 18% to the Latios. Chip damage is chip damage. I don't know what kind of Latios this is yet, so I'm going to go into my especially defensive wall, Licky, as he shows a DD. So he could be physical or a mix set like he was last time. And here he goes out to his Mawile. As I go out to my, we both switched. I go into my Gramble, he go into his Mawile. I get that Intimidate drop. I'm going to switch out because I don't want to take an Iron Head. But he switches out also into his Dougie, just sacking it. Like I said, we both pull another double. I went into Mega Venusaur. And here I'm just going to, he goes for EQ, he gets a crit, bringing me down to 32% of my health. I went for a Synthesis there. And now I'm going to go for a Giga Drain, if I'm not mistaken, to this Mawile, which I'm not afraid of. It does 22% to him this time. My Mega Venusaur is pretty much at full. He goes for an Ice Punch, does 29% to me. I believe I just go for a Giga Drain. No, I went for a Leech Seed, just so I could get back leftovers, or not leftovers, just so I could get back health. He goes for an Iron Head. I went for a Giga Drain. No, I think I went for Synthesis, but he gets a flinch. I went for Synthesis there because I wanted to be a good amount of health. I was gonna use Synthesis and then get some Leech, recovery with the Leech Seed. Here he goes for Brick Break on my incoming Lando. He gets another crit. Well, he gets a crit this time, a flinch and then a crit. And right there we're up 6-5. He goes on to Weavile, or Sneasel, sorry. He goes on to Sneasel. I switch on to Gramble, get that Intimidate drop. As he goes for a low kick, I eat that up. It only does 7% to me. I'm basically gonna get all that back from leftovers. Here I click EQ because I knew he was gonna go into his Latios. So I go for EQ. It does a good amount to the Nidoqueen. There's 62%. Here I'm gonna switch out because I don't want to take any hit. I need that Gramble for the Sneasel and for the Latios. So here I go into Samoa Joe Licky. I take an EQ. Here you're gonna switch out as I went for a Wish, if I'm not mistaken. So this Dougie, he keeps trying to sack it, but I'm not killing it. Here he goes for an EQ. I live it. Here we go for an EQ on myself, and I knock out the Dugtrio. So right here we're in a good position. We're up 6-4. My Licky's at a good amount of health. Here he goes on to this big old threat, which is Tapu Lele, which shouldn't be allowed. This thing's OP. I go out to my switching, which is not really a switching, which is Registeel. He goes for a Focus Blast. It does 46% to me. That's a lot. Here he goes for another focus blast, and he misses. That's why it's called focus miss. I go for an Iron Head to 71%, and here he goes for a focus blast, and I live it. And I'm gonna knock him out with the Iron Head. And Minnesota Victinis are up at 6-3. I'm turn 20. We're up 6-3. Here he goes for a DD. I just clicked Toxic, if I'm not mistaken, just so I can start whittling down this Latios, which is the biggest threat on his team so far. Or at this point, here he goes for a Psychic, knocking out my Registeel. Here I believe I'm just gonna go on to I don't remember. I went to Licky Licky. I should have gone for the Wish because I could live anything he has to throw at me because I'm especially defensive. He went for the Z Tectonic Rage. You see, I live it. I should have gone for maybe a Wish there, but I went for a knockoff. I didn't think it was gonna be a Z move. And here he goes for a Psychic, and we're both gonna go down. It's a double down right here. He kills me, and he goes down to Toxic. And now we're up 4-2. Here I go on to Victini here, as he goes on to Nidoqueen. I go for a Blue Flare, as he goes for an Earthquake and knocks me out. So here he's a Choice Scarf. I didn't think he was going to be Choice Scarf, to be honest. So here I go into Lando, knowing he's Choice Scarf at the time. He can't go for Earth Power, or else I'll knock him out. So here he switches out to the Sneasel, just sacking it to the CQ. And we're up 3-1. And now George goes on to his Nidoqueen, his Scarfed Queen. I'm just going to go out and stack my Venusaur, just so I can see what he locks himself into. He goes for an Ice Beam, knocks me out. I know my Gramble can live, unless he gets a Freeze. But I'm pretty sure he can't, because he's Sheer Force. Or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Sheer Force. Well, he has to be. He goes for an Ice Beam. I go for an EQ, and I knock out the Nidoqueen. And the Minnesota Victinis are the TE Season 1 champions. The Minnesota Victinis, for the first time in their history, we are the champions. And we lift up the cup, the championship, the title, whatever you want to call it. But the Minnesota Victinis are champions. And this is our first championship. That Nidoqueen at the end was scary, but I knew he was a Choice Scarf, Sheer Force. And I knew I could live the Ice Beam unless he got a Freeze or a Crit. Well, I'm pretty sure I could even live a Crit. But as long as he didn't get an Ice Beam, that game was mine. And like I said, we pick up a championship. The Minnesota Victinis are champions. GG to my buddy George, who he beat us week 7, the last week of the regular season. He beat us. He broke our undefeated streak. He beat us 3-0. But now in the championship round, we face again. And this time we beat him. We beat him 2-0. Like I said right there, Mega Venusaur took out the Mawile, Licky Licky took out the Trio, Registeel took out Tapu Lele and the Latios, Lando took out Sneasel, and the Gramble took out the Nidoqueen. And like I said, we're champions for the first time in our history. And you know, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the way we played this season. I guess you could say out of what was it, 7, 8, 9 games? 9 games, we won 8 games and we lost 1. 8-1 record. Even though this was a short season, but it doesn't matter. The Minnesota Victinis still are champions. We still lift up the cup. And this season's over. It will be back. But since this season's over, that means 100 of my whereas now I can focus 100% of the time on the PWC, which week 3 is coming up. And like I said, you know, I like this team right here in the TEE. And like I said, we're champions. And we will be back next season when the TE returns to defend our championship. And I think that's it. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time. Later.